Broadcasting from the Attention Era Media Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe, the man who's very glad to finally meet Beckham Colburn. Congratulations, Baxter. And now, here's the dad himself, your host, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. And a very special thank you to you, Game Master Scheibe. Yes, as you mentioned, Beckham has finally arrived, Baby C, as many people were saying. It was a long-awaited wait, but on November 15th, he did finally arrive. We didn't announce anything during our Thanksgiving episode because we were, of course, recovering from all the craziness, and we just wanted to finally make sure that everything was good to go. But Beckham is happy, he's healthy, and Mom is doing well, of course, as well, our executive director, Liz. And I am a little tired, but thrilled to be back, of course, Game Master Scheibe. We've got a great show in store for you. It's a best of What's the Score this week. We're still decided to give all of our wonderful staff the week off because of the Thanksgiving holidays. Black Friday shopping, of course. Did you do any Black Friday shopping, Game Master Scheibe?
I did not this year.
Not this year?
I'm really not a fan, frankly. I'm more of a Cyber Monday kind of guy.
Oh,
so I don't have to fight through the crowds that way.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. I didn't do a whole lot myself either. But if you, are still shopping for that deal that involves being on a sports news quiz, we encourage you to go check out our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com, or visit our social media pages and sign up to play one of our awesome games.
You can also find the show on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and on our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, Game Master Scheibe, did you have a good Thanksgiving time with your family?
I did. I enjoyed it quite a bit. My mom made some homemade pumpkin pie, which is always good. So, yeah.
Well, we know, though, from Mom, I joked about it with your birthday. That was, from Mama Scheibe's cooking when you got food poisoning. So hopefully the same thing didn't occur, though, with the pumpkin pie.
No, not this time.
Good. Okay. I was a little worried about that. So I'm glad that you were in good health. The Colburns, we didn't do a whole lot either. We kind of just stayed at home. I played in a football game with some friends on Thursday morning, of course, which was a lot of fun. But just took a family rest day, of course. Watched some Netflix and just kind of hung out. And Beckham was very rowdy, of course, at 9 days old at that point. So we had to keep him under wraps as well. But we've got a great show in store for you today. As we mentioned, it is a best of show. And Game Master Scheibe, I felt that it was very appropriate, since you are the man that opens the show, that you be the first segments that we go through, of course. You've got your two segments that you do.
I'm honored. Thank you, Bax.
Yes, it's the best of Game Master Scheibe. No, it's not fully. But our first segment is dedicated to you, Game Master Scheibe, because you do your unique openings every single week. How do you come up with those openings every time?
Well, I spend all week thinking about them, not coming up with anything, and then 5 minutes before the show, it finally hits me.
You're always pacing back and forth in the studio like, Josh, we're ready. Just hold on a second, guys. I'm not quite ready.
Oh, I'm always ready to go when we need to go.
That is true. It always comes through at the very end. So we put together a couple of our very favorites of Game Master Scheibe's openings, so take a listen.
I'm your Game Master, Josh Scheibe, the man who sees that it's clearly a rebuilding year for the Electoral College. The man who believes that the scariest thing about October 2016 may be that the Minnesota Vikings are somehow now 5-0. The man who once tried trick-or-treating at Roger Goodell's house. Unfortunately, Goodell wasn't participating. He'd purchased airheads, and they'd somehow all deflated by the time he was supposed to give them out. The man who used to hate math up until he discovered that decimals have a point.
Oh.
I mean, I was okay at geometry, but I'm a bit out of shape now. The man who wouldn't be all that angry at his brother if he showed up on The Bachelorette. No, really, I'd just be confused because I don't have a brother.
So, Game Master Scheibe, of course, as you can see, you definitely are very variety filled when it comes to your openings. Very punny, of course, very exciting, but we always like to mess with you, of course, too. As I try not to laugh when you're delivering these at the beginning of the show. Is that your sole purpose of trying to make me laugh?
That's how I know it's a good intro, is when you're laughing and trying to cover your mic.
It has nothing to do with the listeners.
No, nothing.
Okay, because I usually try to tell the producers, I'm like, look, keep me muted until he introduces me, because during that first bit, I'm like right by my microphone reading the script, and then I'm like, oh gosh, what's he going to say? Oh, that's funny. And then it just gets weird. But we are curious to know your thoughts as the listener of the 5 intros that we played for you. Which one is your favorite? If you head over to our Facebook page, What's the Score? The Sports News Quiz on Facebook, you can actually vote for your favorite intro that we posted from Game Master Show. I mean, if you've got a different one that you like, of course, please comment in the section below. I'm curious, Josh, you're going to obviously have to think about this, but I'm curious to know what your favorite intro of all time has been. You've done quite a few of them.
That's going to be a tough one.
But I'm genuinely curious to know. You'll have to take a listen through the archives and let me know officially. But you've been involved from the beginning, of course, Josh, as you know, and I always like to throw new things at you, right?
Oh, yes. Yes, the most recent one would be the Stump the Shybee segment.
Which I think is a lot of fun. I mean, it's got catchy music.
It is.
Come on, not many people get their own theme music on
That's
the show.
very true. I mean, you get Darth Vader and me, I guess. That's about it now.
I don't even have my own theme music, if that makes you feel any better.
That's very true.
And I'm the host. I don't even know what my theme music would be, honestly.
I have no idea.
Maybe that should be a Twitter poll this week, at WTS Sports Quiz. What should Baxter's intro music be? Because Josh gets his own classy, swanky feel music. But Stump the Shybee's been quite the adventure for you, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the first day, it was just kind of sprung on me. I don't think you gave me any warning about it.
I usually don't.
You don't usually. And, ever since, it's become one of my favorite parts of the show, actually. Yeah. All right, well, we're going to head to a break now, but when we come back, we're going to have more for you from the best of What's the Score.
It's a revolution.
So you're sitting at home probably right now thinking, hey, you know what? What's the Score? Sounds like a really fun show. I'm really enjoying my time listening. But you know what you're not doing? You're not signing up to be a contestant, and we want you to do that. Go to our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com, and click on the contact form, or fill out the contestant form on the front page of the website, or go visit us on Facebook, What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz, or on Twitter, at WTS Sports Quiz, and click on one of the social media posts that have Be a Contestant. You could win a great prize. You get to talk to Game Master Shybee. You get to talk to me. You just get to have sports news quiz fun at the highest level. It seems like a pretty obvious thing, so why are you still listening? Go do that right now. Go be a contestant on What's the Score. We need you. But seriously though, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello and welcome back to the best of What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm your Game Master, Josh Shybee, and now here's the host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. We are doing our best of show this week, one of the few that we've done throughout the history of What's the Score. This is episode number 44. Game Master Shybee, we are going to reflect a little bit about What's the Score and the history of everything at the end of the show. We'll get to that. We'll do our own personal reflections a little bit and highlight some of our personal favorite moments, of course, in What's the Show and What's the Score history, of course. What a show as it is. One thing, Game Master Shybee, we've been really fortunate since our beginning back in December of 2015 to do 2 live shows. We've been able to go to Crossway Church for a March Madness event, and just back in October, we got to go to Major Goolsby's as well for a live event there. It was a great time. We had a bunch of panelists as well. We had 4 high-class, high-profile, A-list panelists, basically.
It was a great group of people there.
It really was, and the atmosphere was fantastic, too, and that's definitely one thing that we try to do as much as we can, obviously. We've got some exciting news that we're going to announce on next week's show. We've got a new sponsor. You probably saw it on Facebook, of course, but we'll fully introduce that sponsor next week, of course, and we have a live show coming up at their establishment in the next couple of weeks as well, so we're excited about that. But Game Master Shybee, that Major Goolsby's event, we need to talk about it. It was a lot of fun. I did.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, we had Armin Sarian, Kevin Holden, Chris Pappas, and Doug Russell on the panel. It doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No kidding. It was a great panel.
It really was. We needed Lance Allen, but Lance Allen was busy doing TV, of course, so we couldn't get him there. But I want to play you a clip from one of the panel question rounds while we were at Major Goolsby's, just to kind of show you the atmosphere that we had, the funny chemistry, the jarring between these panelists. So take a listen. It was definitely one to never forget.
All right, time now for our panelists to showcase their knowledge about this past week's sports news. Reverend Russell, we'll start with you first, sir. Jim Harbaugh is known for going the extra mile to recruit players, as many people know. This week, while he was at a high school game, what was he spotted doing?
He was crowning the homecoming queen.
Yes.
That's one part of it. That is the follow-up to it, but what else was he seen doing during the actual game?
During the game?
During the actual high school game that he was at recruiting, he was seen working. What was he doing?
Was he at the concession stand?
He was not.
I don't have this one. I would have said what you said.
I remember the
I don't know how you want to
part.
go about this game, Master Shai, because he answered like the follow. But he didn't.
I'm going to say no on this one.
Okay,
it wasn't
fair enough.
during
fair
the
enough.
game.
He was working the chain gang.
Chain gang.
Oh,
He was
really?
Going up and
I
down
didn't
the
know that.
sidelines, working
I
the
didn't
chain
know that.
I
gang.
didn't see that part.
Going the extra mile to get that recruit, I guess.
Very
I
nice.
would have missed it. He loves doing that, sleeping over at their house.
Don't give me the
He
point.
does.
And I'm glad you didn't give me the point because I'm a tough grader. So
It wasn't
There you
during
go.
the game.
And
that's
that's the thing,
fine. That's,
because
but you're right. That's what I'm saying.
And you did get the follow-up, though. He did announce the homecoming king and queen, of course, at halftime, which everybody was like, oh, my gosh. But the real thing that we were looking for was the chain gang. It's all good. Either way, though, still a very Harbaugh thing to do.
He could have ended up on a chain gang if he wasn't a coach. He'd tell you.
There you go.
Boom.
All right, Kevin, the next one's for you.
Khakis.
Cubs fans were not happy when a picture of Frank Kaminsky appeared with him wearing a jersey with who on the back?
Steve Bartman.
Yes, that is correct. Steve Bartman, bring him back.
That Twitter exchange was fantastic. Those two went back and forth. There was Kaminsky tweeting the picture of the goat, and
Right.
then the Cubs came back and said, "Don't take losses so hard, or don't dwell on losses." And it's him having just lost to Duke in the championship game. Like, wow! The crazy thing for me is that's a guy from Illinois.
Right,
He's a White
fan.
Sox
He's
fan.
a Sox
He's
fan.
a big Sox fan.
So, of course, he hates the Cubs, right?
So
Sox fans hate the Cubs.
I'm trying to figure out who likes them then.
Who likes the Cubs?
Yeah.
Cubs
Or
or
the Sox. There's a couple Cubs fans here tonight. I've seen a couple of jerseys and people walking
All
around.
right.
Well, Northsiders like the Cubs.
I guess
usually.
it's a small pocket, isn't it?
If your name is Chad and you wear cargo shorts, you probably like the Cubs.
President and the First Lady, I think, are
Cargo.
Sox fans.
That's
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah,
South
that's
Siders.
right.
South Side, North Side.
If
I
you
love
work
it.
for a living, you like the Sox.
What are you, Lee Elia? Well, everybody go and Google that.
If you have a job, you like the Sox. If your name is Chad or Buffy, you like the Cubs.
If you drink Old Style,
Oh, that's so true.
You like
That's
your
true.
Cubs.
If your coffee has more than 5 names, 5
Right.
words.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, Armin, question over for you now.
I'm ready. Yeah, go ahead.
NFL star Patrick Peterson made a very unusual move while warming up for his game against the New York Jets by wearing what on the field?
He wore a T-Rex costume.
He did,
Yeah,
yes.
He wore a T-Rex costume.
An inflatable T-Rex suit.
Inflatable.
Some may have seen the T-Rex videos, playing basketball and
Sure.
jumping on hotel beds and having pillow fights. And there he is, this man making millions and millions of dollars warming up in an inflatable T-Rex suit.
You know
Yeah,
why
lost-
he did it?
lost
Why
the
did
bet.
he
He
do
lost the bucket challenge.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Wasn't
The three quarterbacks and Patrick Peterson, they at practice, they designate one day where they have a bucket in the corner of the end zone.
Sure.
And whoever misses the worst has to wear something stupid.
Well, he's used to catching the ball. He's not used to throwing the ball. I
But it's
guess.
his choice to participate.
That is true.
You got to respect him. He went through his progressions, though. He did all of his warm-ups. He did all of his moves.
He did. He
had
looked good.
He had
There
the
was
little
some good-
T-Rex hands on, though. He had the whole outfit. It was nice. It was good.
All right, Chris, the last one's for you. All right. The UFC world got some big news this week when what notable fighter said she'll return to the octagon at UFC 2017?
Ronda Rousey.
Yes, that is correct. Ronda, she's coming back. She hasn't been a part of it since she lost to Holly Holm, or Holly Holm's foot, as it were. But now she gets the chance to fight against Amanda Nunes in the main event. But does anybody really think she's going to really return to her elite status? I really have a hard time saying that Rousey's going to ever be as hot and popular as she was.
She's
They
probably
said the same thing about me.
That's true. And the
Did you take
jury's
a foot
out.
to the
Emmy.
face?
Right.
After the Emmy. It's like, will
Several.
he ever be able to repeat?
Yeah, I think the jury's out on her, but she's the most influential female athlete probably ever. So
She has. Well,
she's up
yeah.
there,
I don't know
think.
about that.
I don't
think
know.
she's a
Serena
more
Williams?
powerful.
Not Rebecca Lobo?
Who's going to pay
Yeah,
per view?
Ham.
King.
Who's going to pay per view to see Serena or Billie Jean? But they're all going to pay to watch.
So you think she's more influential than Billie Jean King?
I don't know about influential,
Well,
but
we'll
powerful.
go with that take.
Past 5 years.
You heard it here first.
Oh,
Billie
last-
Jean King is nothing, apparently, according to her.
Well, like you said, Max, we had a great panel at that show.
We
you
certainly
you were
did.
able to hear a little bit of that.
It's always funny to hear the banter between Kevin Holden and Doug Russell.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously we know that those guys have been lifelong friends, so they banter on a level higher than even you and I can comprehend.
We can barely get a word in edgewise
they're
there.
throwing all these random players and references out, and you and I are looking at each other across the room like, I don't know what they're talking about. Just laughing and like, oh yeah, whatever you're saying. Great. What are you saying? I don't know.
Well, that was actually our second live event. Our first was at Crossway Church in Germantown, and we had a chance there to play one of our favorite games here on the show, a mainstay on What's the Score, called Quotable Context.
Great show.
And best part is, we had two people with the same name. Take a listen.
So we're excited to get right into it and meet our first contestants as well. Game Master Scheibe, who are we being joined by this evening?
We have Ben and Ben.
Oh, well, it's such a great name. Why not do it twice? Let's welcome Ben and Ben to the program. It's like Mike and Mike, but only better. All right, Ben and Ben, welcome. So how are we going to distinguish between the two of you? Who's Ben and who's the other Ben?
I'm awesome.
You're Ben Awesome? Okay, and Ben, who are you?
Loser.
Above average.
Ben above average. Okay, sounds good. All right, well, gentlemen, you're going to be playing our first game called Quotable Context, in which Game Master Scheibe will read you 5 quotes from this last week's news. Correctly identify the context of each quote, and you will win our prize, a What's the Score t-shirt. Now, in order to buzz in, you have to say your name, and since both of you have the same first name, which we apparently didn't plan for ahead of time,
awesome.
You're going to go with awesome, and you're going to go with above average. Do you want to use a different word?
Maybe I speak really fast.
Okay, above average and Ben. So as soon as the question is done being said,
stupid is still available.
Above and without. Are you gentlemen ready to play?
Yes.
Okay. Here is
Awesome.
your first quote from Game Master Scheibe.
Hey, Siri, show me sadness in Cleveland.
That was iPhone users this week figuring out that if you say those words to Siri, at what location will show up in Cleveland that represents sadness?
Above average.
Yes. Okay, above average. What was your answer?
Johnny Manziel's house.
Ooh. No, that is incorrect.
I think you should get bonus points.
LeBron James?
No, both of those are incorrect. No, it was the Cleveland Browns Stadium. If you tell an iPhone, if you say, hey, Siri, show me sadness in Cleveland, the address for the Brown Stadium shows up.
I have to say, above average's answer was better than the answer that's
Exactly, yeah. It was like a half a point or something with that. All right, we still got plenty of time. Here's your next quote.
I love that they carve their own path.
That was what NBA star saying how he doesn't mind that his sons wear the jersey numbers of Steph Curry and Russell Westbrook and other guys in the NBA.
Awesome.
Yes, awesome.
Michael Jordan.
No, that is incorrect. Above average, Ben. Can you steal?
Oh my God.
He's a current player.
Yeah, NBA is not my thing.
One of the rising stars. Oh, he's already a star. He's already risen.
Derrick Rose.
No, both of those are incorrect. It was LeBron James, actually.
I just said that 2 questions ago.
Wrong time, better question. No, it's all right. Okay, so we still got time here. Here is your next quote, sir.
I'd like to thank the Browns for the opportunity they gave me.
All these Cleveland questions. Gosh, who wrote this show?
Awesome.
All right, anyway, you know who that was? I don't even need to do the follow-up question. What is it? Who is it? If you know who it is, awesome.
Manziel.
Yes, that is correct. Nicely done. Johnny Manziel officially being released from the Cleveland Browns this week. He is now a free agent, and every team is so excited they're not even going to bother signing him. So we're excited to see.
Maybe the Vikings or something.
They've got Teddy Bridgewater. I don't know if they need that. All right, here is your next quote.
They pass too much. Send them my way, and I'll fix that.
That was what NBA player that's retiring at the end of the year, who is known for not passing the ball a lot, talking about LeBron James, very talented children.
Awesome.
Yes, awesome.
Kobe.
Yes, Kobe Bryant, the man. Kobe Bryant saying that his kids, that LeBron James kids pass too much, which kind of helps, but that's a very Kobe thing to say at the same
Only in
time.
the playoffs.
Exactly, only in the playoffs. All right, here is your final quote.
Jay Cutler.
You lose. Sorry, no, you automatically are disqualified. All right, here's your last one.
I'm putting Kansas in here.
That was President Obama telling ESPN that he is picking Kansas to win what major event this
Awesome.
year? Yes, awesome.
March Madness.
Yes, March Madness. The Stanley Cup is the right answer. No, yes, March
FIFA.
Madness. Game Master Scheibe, who is the winner out of our Ben v. Ben
battle.
That would be Ben Awesome with 3 points.
Nicely done, Ben. Congratulations. Let's hear it for Ben, everybody. Nicely done.
I thought he was going to turn into a giant there. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
I was expecting the same thing, not going to lie.
I mean, he's a Cubs fan, so they could use something like that. All right, thank you guys for playing. We appreciate it. Well, our live events are certainly something that keep us on our toes, whether it's our contestants or our panelists, Game Master Scheibe. There's never a dull moment on What's the Score. If you are interested in helping us bring a What's the Score live event to you, we encourage you to go either to our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com, and fill out the contact form, or shoot us an email, WTSSportsQuiz@gmail.com, and let us know if you'd like us to come on out, and one of our wonderful staff members will reach out to you about organizing a live event.
Well, we'll be right back. We're going to head to another break, but when we come back, you'll be able to hear more of the best of What's the Score. Don't go away.
Hammer and a nail, stacking them bales.
What's the Score would like to take this time to thank one of our partners, Vavel USA, the international online sports newspaper, for their support. Head over to vavel.com/en-US today as they provide professional reporting on all major sports in the USA. Follow them on Twitter at @Vavel_USA and go like their Facebook page for prime access to the ultimate source for sports coverage on the web. We here at What's the Score are proud to partner with a terrific organization like Vavel USA.
Well, hey, everybody, this is Baxter. I just want to take a quick minute to point something out. We've been on the air for almost a year. It's amazing how long this show has actually been going on with all the other stuff that we have going on in our lives. But Game Master Scheibe and I have worked really hard, and we are thrilled to continue to be on the air. But there's one thing that we haven't done a lot of so far. We haven't done a lot of live shows. So if you're sitting at home right now thinking to yourself, I really would like a great sports news trivia quiz show to come and do a live event at my church, at my fair, at my restaurant, at whatever, why not contact us? We'd love to come out and do it. Send us an email, WTSSportsQuiz@gmail.com, or visit the contact form on our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com. We'd love to chat with you and figure out if we can't come and do some crazy sports news trivia fun with you. All right, enough of this. Let's get back to the action. Game Master Scheibe, take it away.
Hello, and thanks for listening to the best of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe. We're here at the Attention Era Media Studios, and here's your host, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. We've had a great show so far. It is the best of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. Quick reminder for you, of course, you can find our show every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time on iTunes, on Spreaker.com, on iHeartRadio, on Stitcher, on our website, WTS Sports Quiz, on Vavel USA. There's numerous places for you to check out What's the Score, and it's never a dull moment, of course, on the show, as we've mentioned, Game Master Scheibe. Speaking of dull moments, we have had our fair share of bloopers. No best of show, I feel like, is ever complete without a good set of bloopers. Wouldn't you agree?
No, it's very true. There are never any dull moments here, but there are occasionally moments when we're dull.
That is very true. And sometimes it's not our fault, though. Sometimes it's
true.
the equipment. Sometimes it's a caller. Sometimes
we think it's the equipment.
Yes. So we've decided to put together a couple of bloopers, whether it's things that we've done personally that obviously didn't make it onto the air because we want to sound as professional as possible, or some things that our guests or our contestants have done, or our panelists as well, too. So you take a listen at some of the best bloopers / funny moments and What's the Score over the past couple of episodes.
Hello and welcome back. Thanks for listening to My Mic's Not On, I don't think.
Sure it is.
I'm not hearing anything.
It's on.
Oh, there we go.
There he
is.
is.
Sorry, guys.
Hey!
One more time. Okay.
I was hoping to rebrand the show at some point. My mic's not on.
Do you guys have a blooper reel?
Yes, that is correct. Game Master Michael, how did Tony do on our game?
Tony got 3 out of 5 correct. He is a winner. Loser. My addition skills are off today.
You said you graduated from college, right?
Excuse me.
Well, Michael, it's okay, Michael. We appreciate it. Tony, thank you for playing. I don't even know what's going on.
But
Give it to him. Give it to him.
Jimmy is a winner.
Oh, that's
For
right.
dishing out an assist, so he now has 3 points.
Hey, well done, Jimmy. Well done. Gave out that hint. Yes, Grant? Nothing? You did the little piece thing like you had something to say. What?
No, I wasn't even looking at
You come into my studio. You give me the fingers like you want to talk, and you don't even have nothing to say.
No, I wasn't.
What's the matter, you, Grant? Anyway, let's go to a break. I can't deal with these guys. So, Game Master Scheibe, no matter what we do, things never fully go as planned. I've basically accepted that after now 44 episodes of What's the Score. There is no way that we can fully predict what's going to happen because technology, number one, never likes us. It's a fickle thing. It's a beautiful thing when it works, but
Very true.
Let's be honest, it never fully works most of the time. There's even at our Major Goolsby's show when we were setting up for a lot of different things, the opening part of the show, the song is playing, the mics are on, and our contestant mic falls and hits the ground, and it's like, this is what's the... You're like, oh, what is going on?
Great start to the show.
And I look back and I'm like, oh, this is how it's going to go, isn't it? But thankfully that's not how it happened. But it's moments like that, you have to laugh, don't you? I mean,
oh, yeah.
Because if you really let it affect you, I mean, it's not going to do you or the show any good, I feel like, right?
Right, absolutely. It's the same thing with when you're performing on stage like I do. You just train to, okay, well, if things go wrong, adapt.
Exactly. What's one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to you while you've been on stage?
Ooh.
I'm sure you've been in enough productions now. I feel like there's got to be a couple that just stick out to you.
I think the worst thing would actually have to be something that happened to me when I was in 8th grade.
Hey, that far back?
That far back.
You're out of college now, Game Master Scheibe.
I know.
How do you remember? This must be either traumatic?
Well, no. It's just that I've been very fortunate in that I have not been in shows that have had, stages falling over and things like that.
Oh, okay.
8th grade, however, there was there was a section of the show that was supposed to be like this fashion show, and so the 7th and 8th grade classes were supposed to be doing a
fashion
catwalk type of thing.
Sure.
And at one point, we were supposed to. There were several of us who were supposed to put on robes, for Moses' robe. And somebody had left his robe just under the wheel of the stage. It was one of those kind of dividers that you put between between rooms, classrooms, and that was our backdrop. And somebody left the robe underneath the wheel. So when he pulled the robe out from underneath the wheel, that part of the stage started collapsing backwards, and starting to fall potentially onto the students behind it.
Is anybody injured?
No one was injured because I was on the other side.
Okay.
And I grabbed that end.
Wow.
I grabbed that end. And of course, I'm standing there grabbing this thing, and everybody else on stage is looking at me like, what are you doing? The stage is falling, guys. Grab the other end, please.
Josh, would you get back in line?
Right, exactly. So the 7th grade teacher then came running out from the audience, grabbed the other end and pulled it up. Now, of course, I still had to put on my robe.
Yeah.
And this was all happening within the span of about, 15 seconds.
Oh, jeez.
So I threw my robe on and I only got it halfway on. But, of course, everybody in the audience knew what was happening.
Of course.
So I went up and I did my little thing with Moses' robe and looked down at myself, looked up at the audience and shrugged, and everybody loved it.
There you go.
They lost it.
You killed it.
It was,
this guy, he's hilarious.
And I was forever cursed to want laughter. So, that's how it goes.
Huh. Yeah, I can't say I've ever had too many crazy things happen in my broadcasting career. Thankfully. Oh, my gosh. But it's funny, though, how the world of broadcasting and acting, of course, are very similar, I feel like, in a lot of things. So kind of funny to see how different things occur the way they do. Speaking of things that occur the way they do, one of the things that we do on the show is a very fun segment. It's always at the end of the show, and I always ask you, Game Master Scheibe, what time is it?
It's time for the Name 5 Panelist Showdown.
And then, of course, there's a flyover and fireworks and in the studio, and it's great. We have a great time with it. But it's radio, so no one can see that. They're like, what's going on? It sounds fun. But it was a while back that we finally settled the age-old debate of who so far is the all-time best panelist on What's the Score. Because if you look at our panelist leaderboard, currently, Dan Pfeiffer and Ian DeMars are both tied with 26 points. So they continue to go back and forth. We need to get them on the show again, but we had them on the show back in September on our 34th episode. It was our back-to-school show. We had Dan Pfeiffer, Ian DeMars, and Caleb Pearson on our panel to settle the debate of who was the best panelist. Was it Dan Pfeiffer or Ian DeMars? And it was a surprise turn of events, I feel like. And I know even you as a scorekeeper, you were looking at me.
It was a very close game.
It really was.
Yeah.
So we felt that we needed to share with you that very close Name 5 panelist showdown matchup. So take a listen and let us know your thoughts if the right person actually won. It's time for the best part of the show. Game Master Shabby, what time is it?
It's time for the Name 5 Panelist Showdown! Our panelists will be given 4 topics in which they will have 10 seconds to name 5 people, teams, places, or things related to the sports world. Each panelist will have the same category. However, they cannot repeat answers. 1 point is awarded for each correct answer.
Game Master Scheibe, can you give us the scores, please?
I can. Ian and Caleb are tied with 2 points, and Dan is in the lead with 4.
Oh, all right. So, Caleb, we will be starting with you first. You will have 10 seconds to name 5 current pro golfers, male or female. 10 seconds, and begin.
Jason Day, Rory McIlroy, Henrik Stenson, Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson.
There you go. He got all 5. Nicely done. Nicely done. Ian, over to you. 10 seconds, current pro golfers, male or female, and begin.
Brooks Koepka, Zach Johnson, Richie Fowler, Tiger Woods, and
Ooh, all right. He got 4. I guess Tiger is technically still a pro, still current. He's just taking a lot of time off, I guess.
Fun fact: the odds of him winning the Masters for not having played golf for like 2 years, he's like 50-1 to win next year.
How is that even possible? All right, Dan, over to you. 10 seconds and begin.
All right, Michelle Wee, Phil Mickelson, Patrick Reed, John Daly's on the senior tour now, and there's a female golfer named Ko. I can't remember her first name. Is that good enough?
It's up to you, Game Master Scheibe.
I'll give it to him.
Okay, he'll give it to him. He will get 5 on that one. Nicely done. All right, Ian, over to you now. 10 seconds to be naming 5 current NFL kickers. 10 seconds and begin.
Sebastian Janikowski, Mason Crosby, Blair Walsh, Roberto Aguayo, and Matt Prater.
There you go. He got all 5. Nicely done, Ian. All right, Dan, over to you. 10 seconds and begin.
Oh, this is going to be tough. Robbie Gould. Oh, boy. Stephen Hauschka.
Yep. Ooh, only 2 for Dan. That could be pivotal. All right, Caleb, over to you. 10 seconds and begin.
Josh Brown, is he still the kicker for Seattle?
No.
Okay.
That's Hauschka.
Gostowski?
Yep.
Is that the Philadelphia
He's a thing.
kicker? David Akers, he's still playing?
He's not.
Okay.
So he got 1. I know Josh Brown is technically still in the league. He did not play for the Seahawks. That's up to you, Game Master Scheibe, if you want to give him that point, though.
I think since he was a kicker and he said the name, I'm going to give it to him.
So we'll give it to him. All right, that's 2 points then for Caleb. All right, over to you, Dan. 10 seconds. We are naming 5 current tennis pros, male or female. 10 seconds and begin.
Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Andy Roddick, Roger Federer, and Rafa Nadal.
There you go. He got all 5. Well done, and in plenty of time as well, too. All right, Caleb, over to you. 10 seconds and begin.
Juan Del Potro, Novak Djokovic, Ana Ivanovic, Isner, and David Ferrer.
Wow, he got all 5. We may have a close one down the stretch here. All right, Ian, 10 seconds and begin.
Andy Murray, Sloane Stevens. I believe her last name's Fish for the U.S. I can't remember exactly.
We'll have someone check on that one. Can we get a check on if Fish is a tennis player, please?
Let's go Fish.
Let's go Fish.
I know there's a male one, I'm
Let's
pretty sure,
go
too.
Fish. Something like that. We're waiting for official word on that one. Taking a moment.
So
Game Master
bad.
Shivey, how are you?
Official, really?
The
Oh,
official.
wow.
You're welcome.
Oh.
We're going to say we have no. Marty Fish. He did say fish, so yes, then. So is that up to you then? So we're good. We're going to take
give it to him.
Okay,
You
we'll
got
take
3.
it to him. All right. Sorry, a little bit of deliberation there on that one. Just had to talk amongst ourselves, obviously. All right, Game Master Shivey, what are our scores going into the final round?
Caleb and Ian are tied at 14, and Dan is in the lead with 16.
How interesting. We are right back to where we started. All right.
What did we spend the last few hours doing?
Yes. Nothing, apparently. All right, we flipped a coin, and Ian will be going first. Ian, you will have 10 seconds to name as many of AFC North current players. AFC North current players, Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Ravens. 10 seconds, as many of, and begin.
Ben Roethlisberger, Andy Dalton, AJ McCarron, Jeremy Hill, Giovanni Bernard, AJ Green, let's see, Joe Flacco.
Okay, he got 7 total. All right, over to you, Caleb. 10 seconds, and begin.
Steve Smith Sr.
Yep.
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
LaShawn McCoy.
Yep.
Oh
no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong ones. Yep, you're right. LaShawn McCoy and Tyrod Taylor both play for the Bills.
Yep,
so only 1 for Caleb on that one.
Can you run through the teams one more time?
Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Ravens. AFC North. At least that's what Google told me. That's who's in the AFC North. All right. Well, what is Dan looking at?
Let's see. Dan needs 5 to tie and 1 to win.
6 to win?
6 to win. Excuse me.
Wow, why bother tying, Dan, if you just need 1?
1 more to win.
All right. So here we go. 10 seconds, Dan. This is for all the marbles. And begin.
Hopefully I don't name any that have already been named. Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. Let's see here. This is not going to go well. Yeah.
Wow, he only got 1. Game Master Shivey, what are the final scores?
The final scores are Caleb in third with 15, Dan in second with 17, and Ian's the winner with 21 points.
It has been such a long time coming, and now we finally know an absolutely epic battle. My goodness.
All right, well, that's it for Name 5 for this week, but when we come back, we'll have a little more for you on the best of What's the Score.
Hey guys, this is Baxter. I want to take a quick minute to let you know that we've changed a couple of things here at What's the Score. The show will no longer be broadcast live on Sunday afternoon or evenings anymore. Instead, you can find the show every Monday morning on demand, right at your fingertips at 8 a.m. Central Time. Go and download it on iTunes, visit us on Spreaker.com, or go to our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com, to get the most recent show and past shows as well. The best way to keep in touch with everything that What's the Score is doing. So once again, no more live shows, but go and download it, iTunes, Spreaker.com, and What's the Score, WTSSportsQuiz.com.
James Corsmo of TitletownSoundoff.com here with the man they call Bobo.
Howdy.
And we want to tell you a bit about our podcast, Titletown Sound.
We're fans of the Green Bay Packers, as I'm sure many of you are, and we know there are plenty of opinions out there, but we think we give you some unique takes that vary between the level-headed and sensible, all the way to the entertainingly absurd.
That's our specialty, the entertainingly absurd.
Sure is. We've got other hosts to talk sensible-like.
So the website is Titletown Sound Off, and the podcast is Titletown Sound?
That's right.
So the podcast just leaves off the off?
Yes.
So fans of the Packers should go in to TitletownSoundoff.com to get into the podcast.
Exactly.
That's a lot of prepositions.
Sure is, James. It sure is. Now back to 2 of my favorite prepositions on the interwebs, Baxter and Josh.
Those are nouns.
Oh yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the best of What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe, and here once again is the host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. We've had a terrific show. Very exciting best of What's the Score edition for you, number 44. Seems like just yesterday, Game Master Scheibe, you were here sitting in my living room creating What's the Score. And now we are here in the beautiful Attention Air Media Studios, and things continue to go up and up for the show, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, one thing we wanted to highlight before we get to a new thing we're going to do going on the show going forward is look back at one or two of the more memorable panel questions segments that we've had recently. Obviously, our panelists are our mainstay on the show, of course, but it's fun to always see what they know about the sports world, but it's even more fun to see the reaction to kind of silly or crazy questions. And I know that we played it in our last best of, but the Doug Russell Pokemon question, I think, still forever stands out in my head as one of the best reactions.
What?
I think. Yeah. He got a what? A Pokeball. A what? What does that even mean? It's like, okay, Doug. Okay, sorry about that. You learned, and that was Doug's first time on the show, too. So it was a learning curve for us, of course. But we put together two of our favorite, more recent panel question segments. So take a listen to these and let us know your thoughts if you know the answers to some of these questions that our panelists may or may not have known. Armin, we'll go to you first. In typical Tim Tebow fashion, he defied all the odds again this week by doing what in his first professional baseball game?
He hit a home run.
He did.
Opposite
that is
field.
correct. Opposite field off a left-handed thrower. It was.
Then he went over
amazing.
5.
Then he went over 5. That's the one stat line not many people like to dwell on. Be like,
yeah.
he hit his home run. And he did horrible after that, basically. Is he actually going to do this for a long time? I mean,
no. No chance.
No, I don't know what it would take. Like, I was waiting for it, like the Mets to make the playoffs, the Mets to call him up because that star player gets hurt. Tim Tebow comes in, he wins at Game 7, the Mets win the World Series. But Tim Tebow.
Just to get from where he is instructional league to the major leagues is a huge, long desert of a process.
Where does that even rank? Like, I don't know.
It's the lowest. I mean, instructional league's the lowest of the low. It's the first.
So then he has to go through 3 levels of
well, he'd have to go through rookie ball, Class A, then Double A, and then Triple A. But they'd never put him through all of that. They'd probably put him into Double A because
to sell tickets.
His age and to sell tickets. Yeah.
Oh. We'll see if they actually do or not. I'm curious if they actually bump
Maybe
him
he'll
up next
buy
year.
a bus for the team like Michael Jordan did.
There you go. Yeah.
You got to find
then
ways
he gets a guaranteed spot.
I like that. I like that. All right.
All right, Dan, the next one's for you. Trying to gain an inside edge before their game this weekend, what did Bills coach Rex Ryan do during a Patriots press call?
He, how do we put this? He posed as a reporter named Walt Podolsky, who was the number 1 overall pick in the 1972 NFL draft, 73 NFL draft,
something like that. Yeah, early
and
70s.
asked Julian Edelman if he was going to play quarterback.
Yes, that is correct. All of that is 100% true. And I believe Edelman's response was something to the fact, I think he kind of chuckled because I think it threw him off, and he's like, I'm just going to have to talk to Coach on that one and see. And I think Rex Ryan is like, I will. I'll talk to Coach. And as many folks that know that watch the Patriots game, that is not the case. Julian Edelman did not play quarterback.
No, Dan only gets 1 point there.
Yes,
right?
no,
Okay.
he doesn't get 3 because he just dropped a different thing.
Right.
It's not one of those things where you can build on your points.
Right, I just want to make sure. That's all.
I like it. All right, Armin, or Nick, I'm sorry, I already talked to you, Armin. Get out of here. Nick, question for you. Tiger Woods had something funny yet kind of odd take place before the Ryder Cup teed off this week. What was that?
I'm going to guess he got booted from a photo?
Yes, that is correct. He was kicked out of a team photo. Woods is a vice captain. He said later that he forgot that he wasn't playing. I mean, how do you forget that you're not?
Yeah, come on.
I mean, everybody laughed it off, so at least it wasn't
Right.
super awkward or anything. It was like, oh, get over there kind of thing.
He hasn't played in years.
Yeah, what is he, 700 and something in the world now? 745 or something?
And then he was found later that night at a Waffle House.
Serving waffles. He wasn't even eating. He was just there. I love it. No, it's interesting, too. I mean, we know Tiger Woods is making his comeback, too, and I know a lot of you guys are more golfy than I am, too. But is he ever going to get even close to the greatness he used to be?
He doesn't intimidate the other golfers anymore.
No.
He doesn't have
His ex-wife
overwhelming
might.
strength. Yeah. and confidence his shot.
Right.
So,
Does he believe he can do it? Yeah.
Probably not.
And we know golf is a big mental game. That's one of the things people, I got to work on my mental game. How do you work on your mental game?
It's hard because it's constant, right? I mean,
is it just you against your brain, you against your mind, basically? Like, I can do this. No, you can't. Yes, I can.
But there can always be that one bright flash of a moment where he could have a huge day.
I'm sure if that does happen for Tiger the next tournament he plays, people are like, oh, he's back.
Right,
Tiger's
yeah.
back. He's
Mhm.
making those, whatever crazy highlight reel putts again. Or those.
It's great for the game when he's good, but
No, exactly.
yeah.
It's been a long time since he has been good. Panel, some more questions for you. Ken, we'll start with you. Jeremy Santucci was competing in a bike race in Milan this past week. Unfortunately, he crashed, but what did he do after he crashed in the race?
Santucci? I mean, he probably went and got a glass of wine.
Probably, yeah.
Give me a hint.
So obviously you use something when you're in a bike race, and let's say he did not return it to his owner the way he found it. Or
he kept another dude's bike, his wheel, he kept the dude's.
he didn't return it the way he got it, so you get it. You got a full bike.
Oh,
he didn't return it the way he got it.
He just gave back. He didn't give back the full bike. Hold on.
You're getting closer.
He gave him the seat. He gave him the bike without the seat.
No, that is incorrect.
Whoa! Don't be pressing that buzzer so fast.
We'll cut you off there. No, he broke the bike in half. He was so mad that he crashed.
He cracked.
So he took the bike and he slammed it into the ground and shattered it in half.
Shattered it.
Shattered it.
What bike is that?
I mean, well, those bikes are like half an inch thick, basically. So it's like.
So if I rode on it, it'd just like bend. It would just,
basically,
turn off
like
the ground.
yes, but yes. To make even matters worse, of course, he was also borrowing the bike from a friend.
Oh.
Have you ever borrowed anything from a friend and shattered it or broken it and been like, sorry, like?
Probably. I just tried to erase that from my memory. I'm sure.
It's a very traumatic time for you. I understand.
Pretend that you did not borrow in the first place. Hey, can you give that back to me?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like, hey,
I've
I'd
never
love to
borrowed
borrow that thing. What do you mean you don't have it?
We're not even friends.
Yeah.
Here's a piece of it.
Yeah. I found a spoke. There you go. Good luck, sir. Good luck.
All right, Matt, the next one's for you. Everyone wants to win, but one fan went so far as to do what during a recent Baltimore Orioles game to try to help his team out?
Recent Baltimore Orioles game. That wasn't the. It was in Toronto where the guy threw the beer can.
Yes.
Was that? Is that
That is
okay?
correct.
There it
Yeah,
is.
that's what
All
you're
right.
looking for. Yep. Through the beer can. He has been since found and banned and all that other stuff. And Baltimore was like, or Toronto. I was at Toronto.
Yes.
I think is where they're like, we're not going to sell beer cans anymore in the stadium. But we know Canada does things.
But next week, Bat Day.
Yes, Bat Day. Get your own metal bats. You can throw them into the stands and onto the field. But yeah, a very interesting thing. I mean, I don't necessarily condone things like this. I think you shouldn't do that. Like, let the players play. If you catch the ball, there's enough weird things that happen with sports that he could have, missed the ball or his glove could have magically broken. But it's like, why are you throwing beer out of the stands? Like,
why are you wasting beer?
Exactly.
That's more important.
Right?
Is it like Milwaukee's Best, like some really cheap
Hey,
beer, or
hey,
like
Milwaukee's
Keystone? Like
It had to be Molson.
I
had
was
to be
just going to
Molson.
say,
Right.
dang it. I should have jumped on it.
Gotta just
I've
go
got a
after
Molson
it.
sign at home even.
Do you
but,
really?
yeah.
I've never had Molson's. Like, how much?
Either
is
do
it?
I, but I'm like the number one rep for it. So
You like Molson's?
I'm just taking a safe bet on it that it's pretty good.
Remember when you just walk around screaming Molson?
Molson!
Molson! We love Molson!
I am French Canadian, so I mean,
Was this you? Were you at the Toronto game? Did you throw the?
I know nothing of what you're talking about. Anonymous source.
Moving on. Well, Tim, we'll stay with you, actually. Question here for you. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown has been fined by the NFL after he decided to do what following a recent touchdown?
I can only imagine. I can think of 100 different things. May I please have a hint?
Yes, it is all the rage of the nightclubs right now. There's a lot of songs that involve you doing a certain thing with the part of your body that people are like, wow, you can do that with that part of your body. Cool. Or not.
Well, I'm going to tangent off here for a second, but
Please.
I've got a younger sister, so is it like a dance move or something like that? Or like,
yes, the kids will say, yes, it's a dance move, but it's as adults, you look at it, you're like, why are you doing that? Like, that's weird.
Oh, man.
It's been around for about a couple of years now. There's songs, rap songs about it, like, oh, show me how you da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, like, things like that.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, there's like 10 songs that I can think of off the top of my head like that. I'm going to take a wild guess here, just kind of shooting off in the left field. You said, show me how to something. I know.
Well, I mean, anyway, yes.
Are those specific lyrics?
It's not a specific lyrics. I'm saying, so this is a specific dance move is what we are looking for.
You said a few years ago, but I'm going to go with something more recent, like Whip and Nene.
No, unfortunately not. He was twerking. He was twerking in the end zone. Twerking and hip thrusting, apparently. Yes. He was brown for twerking a few weeks ago, and then he just scored this last weekend. And he scored twice and did the two pump rule, apparently, from Key and Peele, as many folks will know. Just a quick little boom boom, and NFL's like, nope, that's far too much. No hip thrusting, no fun, no anything.
I almost said dabbing on him, but I feel like that would have been too obvious.
That's
like
Cam Newton.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He never got fined last year for all the dabbing that he did.
No.
Did anybody else realize that since Cam Newton has not dabbed this year, the Panthers just continue to lose and just are not playing well?
Yeah. Well, he pulled out that new dance, and it was.
I haven't even seen the new dance.
It's an odd little dance.
Is it?
Yeah, it's not
hip
quite a
thrust?
twerk.
Is the
No, there is no hip thrust.
Okay.
There is no thrusting of the hip, and that's part of the problem. He doesn't have the mobility he used to.
Exactly. It's all those concussions, I guess.
Right.
It's terrible.
If he twerks too much, he'll break a hip.
Yeah, right. So panel questions, of course, are a very big thing on the show. I mean, that's how they get their points for Name 5 Game Master Scheibe. And it's always funny, too, because they forget that they can ask for hints. Guys, we tell them that in panelist orientation. You can ask for a hint. I even tell them on the air, you can ask for a hint.
And people who have been on the show before have forgotten.
I love when that happens. Like, I remember Ken Williams making a big stink about this. Like, we can ask for a hint. I'm like, Ken, where have you been? What the heck, man? Oh, my goodness. But it's funny to see what panelists retain on a weekly basis. They're busy people. We get that. They take time out of their busy lives to come and be a part of our show. Speaking of busy, Game Master Scheibe, you were a rather busy man over the summer months. You were in a lot of shows.
Yes, I was.
And, it was fairly successful from what I remember. Is that correct?
Yeah, everything I was in was pretty well reviewed, and audiences really seem to enjoy it. So,
are you doing any more acting this winter-y time of the year at all?
Not until after the new year.
Okay.
I will be doing. I'll be playing Buckingham in Richard III in February.
Okay.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't done Shakespeare for a while here, so very excited for that.
Absolutely, I'm excited about that. Well, because of you being so heavily involved in the acting world, you took some time off from What's the Score over the summer months. So we are introducing a What's the Score trivia question that you, the listeners, can be a part of. If you're not able to be a call-in contestant on our show, we're going to be introducing a new segment that you, the listener, can email us your answer. So our very first trivia question for you this week will be, how many times has Game Master Scheibe had a replacement for him? So there's been a substitute Game Master.
Good question.
And of course, if you want to be creative with your response, let us know who those people were that filled in for Game Master Scheibe as well. We're not going to tell you how many times it was. I think you know the number, don't you, Game Master Scheibe?
I think so.
You've got the number floating in your head.
Yeah.
And of course, the people that filled in for you did a good job. They did a great job because you're Game Master Scheibe, of course. But you can submit your answer by emailing us, WTSSportsQuiz@gmail.com. And the first person that gets the correct answer to us will be contacted, and then you will win a What's the Score prize from our prize pool that we have. Well, Game Master Scheibe, we've had a fantastic show so far. Doing a best of show is always great. It gives us the opportunity to look back at the history of What's the Score, laugh at ourselves, but also enjoy the success at the same time. But if I'm not mistaken, our producers are calling for one final break.
That's right. Come back. Make sure you keep listening because we'll have more for you here on the best of What's the Score.
Hey guys, this is Baxter Colburn. Just want to take a quick minute to remind all of you to go check us out on social media. You can go find us on Facebook by searching for What's the Score, the Sports News Quiz. And while you're on our Facebook page, why not invite some of your friends to come like our Facebook page as well? You can go and check out all the great recordings that we do, behind-the-scenes pictures. You can see the different videos we do with a lot of our panelists as well, and just get to know What's the Score a little bit better as well. Also, go check us out on Twitter, at WTS Sports Quiz, and at WTS Sports Quiz on Instagram as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the three most powerful things on the social media spectrum right now, and What's the Score is on all of them. Go and check us out today.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to the best of What's the Score, the sports news quiz. I'm your game master, Josh Scheibe. We're here at the Attention Era Media Studios, and here is your host of What's the Score, Baxter Colburn.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everybody. We've had a terrific show so far today, and I am just tickled pink that Christmas time is almost here, Game Master Scheibe. Can you believe it?
Oh, it's getting close.
It really is. A reminder for you, of course, we've got some great Christmas shows coming up. Some new panelists are going to be joining the program as well. You're not going to want to miss it. But if you do want to be a contestant on the show, visit our website, WTSSportsQuiz.com, and fill out the Become a Contestant form right there on the homepage. Just push the big red button, and it will send you where you have to go to do that. I don't think it's red, but it's a big button. Push it.
You'll see it.
When people tell you don't push the big button, we want you to push the big button. That's how you become a contestant. So, Game Master Scheibe, as we wrap things up, I wanted to briefly talk to you about the fact that What's the Score is almost a year old. We started it December 8th, 2015.
Wow, has it been that long?
It has.
Wow.
And we always joked about that, too, on the show, because depending on the number, it's like, oh, my gosh, today's episode 22 or today's episode 35. It's like, what the heck is going on? Or even those first ones, like, it's only show 7. It's like, what is... Oh, wow. But we have had a lot of change, a lot of excitement, a lot of just experimentation, I feel like, in our 12 months.
The show has just grown tremendously since we first started this in ways that I don't think any of us could have really anticipated.
I will say for me, one thing that I'm a little sad about is no longer being at the BLC studios. That was one thing that Peter Wilt, of all people, when we made the transition to the Attention Era Media Studios, which are beautiful. They're downtown Milwaukee. You can outlook the entire cityscape, which is gorgeous. For those that don't know, the BLC Studios is my home studio, which is it's homey. It's very homey, of course, and it's got a great kind of living room feel to it, where it's like just kind of getting a bunch of people together to talk sports and hang out.
It's very cozy.
It is, and I think moving from those studios to the more they're not corporate-y, but they're more professional studios. Downtown, I think was a big milestone for us, because it proved that there was somebody out there that believed in what we were doing. And I think the Attention Era Media has done a fantastic job of supporting our show, helping present the show, of course, and providing us with studio space and a name to back the show as a whole, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the cool thing, too, is when you have new panelists especially, walk into the studios and they see the view, and that's always the first thing they say is like, wow, you guys have a fantastic setup. It's gorgeous down here. I love being able to do the show, but also look out and see, downtown Milwaukee, basically, while I do the show. So I definitely have been grateful for that, the new studio change. We've had over 45 panelists, I think, something crazy like that now come through the show. It's been a lot, but
we've had almost as many, if not more, panelists than we have had shows.
It's a close. I don't know the official.
It's pretty close.
I'd have to check the log officially, but it's been darn near close. I think we're either tied or we might have one or two more panelists than we have had shows, but. Game Master Scheibe, I'm curious from your thoughts, too, from where the show started to where we are now, to where just everything has, from your eyes, because you see the show through a different lens than I see it, of course, on a daily and weekly basis. But what have been your thoughts about where the show was and now where it is, I guess?
Well, obviously when this show started, it definitely felt like a labor of love.
Yes.
And it still is, obviously, but starting out, it didn't feel necessarily like there were as many returns on the investments that we were making.
Yeah.
There was a lot of work that went into it early on, and while that work continues, it's certainly gotten a lot easier, because now we know what we need to do to prepare for each week. We know what to do and how to do it. Generally speaking.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So I would say that I'm really glad that we've figured out what we need to do, which sounds funny, I know, but it's true. We're almost 50 shows in. We're almost a year in,
and that's the crazy part, I think, to think about, is because we we're not going to hit 50 shows in 2016, which I was a little bummed about. I was like, I think we're going to actually be at 49 in 2016.
Oh,
so
wow.
50. I think our 50th show will be our first one in 2017. I haven't officially. So
that's a good
it'll be a
marker,
great
too.
way to
Yeah.
to ring in the new year, of course. But yeah, you talk about the labor of love, Josh. I mean, for me personally, there's been a lot of extra time put into the show that this was a dream come true for me to be able to produce a show and host a show like this, and having you, of course, be along has been tremendous. I can't say enough good things about the people that are involved, whether it's been the contestants or the panelists or all the people behind the scenes, all of our staff. I mean, Tony Larson and Emily Heffler and Christian Gill have done a fantastic job with social media. Our producers, Caleb Pearson and David Bobke have done a great job. Danny Hoffenstein, with him composing our theme, and of course my ever supportive wife Liz Colburn being our executive director, and your father too, Jeff. He's come to almost every show as well. My dad came to a bunch of shows. We've had some coming and going of staff members throughout the time of the show, but the core message, the core goal of the show has never changed, which I think is the important thing.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Because when you do a show like this that has so many possibilities to just get a completely new face, a new brand, and I think we've done a good job of maintaining who we are,
Yeah, I would say so. And, we have had quite a few staff changes in the year that we've been around, but it's never felt like anything less than family here.
Exactly. That's one thing I think that I feel like has always been such a driving thing for people to want to come back each and every week, at least that work for the show. So
yes,
we make it feel like family. We do things together as a staff outside of the show because we love who we are, individually, outside of actually working together too. So it's been an incredible experience so far.
And I'm very thankful to have had the experience because while I'm familiar with performing on stage and on film, this was really my first foray into any sort of regular voice work, as it were. And you can hear that if you listen to the first couple of episodes. I'm clearly still getting my bearings there.
I'm still working on it, don't worry. Myself included. I'm still trying to figure it out.
But I'm very glad to have had the experience because I feel like I've improved both as a broadcaster now and also just in my personal life in terms of trusting in my own voice, as it were, and liking how I sound.
Yes.
Which was not always the case.
Yes. Yep. I would agree with that and echo that same thought as well, too. There's been many times personally where I've been like, I just don't know if I like the way I sound, but you hear the response from people, you get the tweets or you get the Facebook messages and people are like, I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. I'm telling my grandparents, my aunts, my cousins, whoever, my friend, the guy at the post office about your show, and keep up the good work. And it's moments like that really help drive what we do. I feel like. So I want to thank you, of course, for all the hard work that you put into the show, and all of our wonderful staff members as well that have really made What's the Score the dream come true that it really is.
Well, thank you for the opportunity and for keeping me around for this.
What's the Score has been a production of Attention Era Media. A very special thanks to our studio audience here at the Attention Era Media Studios.
Our social media producer is Tony Larson. Our social media staff is comprised of Emily Heffler and Christian Gill. Our theme was composed by Danny Hoffenstein. Our show producers were Caleb Pearson and David Bobke. And the executive director of What's the Score is Liz Colburn. I've been your game master, Josh Scheibe.
And I've been your host, Baxter Colburn. Thanks so much for listening in, and we'll see you next time on What's the Score?